Alright YouTube, this is going to be a tutorial of the lift kit for the TRX4. This is the 2021 Bronco. We're doing the lift kit and we're also doing the 2.2 tires. Give us a little extra lift from the tires itself. As you can see, these are the stock tires. Pretty big difference. Alright, so my wife's doing these tires. We'll get those done. I'll start on this. This is everything that comes in the lift kit. Probably going to need that. Alright, instructions. And for those of you that don't know, because I was trying to find this out before I bought it, it does come with shock oil. It doesn't say, but I believe it's 30 weight. Okay, get your shocks and new springs. Get a longer cable for the servos. That'll be later. Relocation mount for the steering servo. New gear. New axles. Here's your long arm links. More axles. So we're going to start with these. Usually don't use these, but let's see what this looks like here. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever done shocks before. Alright. Aside for now, let's open these. Scissors. I'm not going to bore you with all of this. I'll probably speed it up or, just cover certain aspects here. So let me do the shocks and I'll bring you back here maybe midway. Alright guys, so we just got done filling the shocks and I just want to show this to you. In case you've never filled a shock before, this will be, a little easier for you to understand. So hopefully you can see it in here. When you fill the shock, you want the shock to be fully extended down. You put your oil in, and then on this particular shock, you're going to have threads on the inside. You want to fill it to the bottom of those threads, because when you depress this and your oil comes up, it's going to be right at the bottom of the thread there. And it's very hard to see. Even just filling it's hard to see. So when you put this cap back on it, that's going to be right at the bottom of your threads. You put too much in, it's going to hit that and you're going to build up pressure and you won't be able to have your shock go all the way in. So just wanted to show you that. I'm going to finish putting this one back together and we'll head back to the rest of the teardown here. Alright guys, just to recap where we're at here. So we took the front and rear drive shafts out and we took these off the servos. When you get to this part and you have to take the ball caps off, if you have a pair of needle nose pliers, just hold the bottom of that gold piece and then you can unscrew the ball cap and it's a lot easier. Now we're taking the rear axle out of it. This is where we are so far. So all the links are out, bottom links out, so now we just got to take the shocks out and the whole axle will be out of there. So I'll keep going with this and then I'll show you where we're at. Alright guys, probably about halfway through this here. I just wanted to check in. So we took front and rear axles out, stripped them all down, and now we have to replace these cables for the servos. One tip, when you get to this point here and you have to take this link out by the servo, it is a lot easier to take the bumper off. Other than that, everything else came out pretty easy. Here's one, this is the front. Where's my piece here? So I took it out already. That piece goes in there like that. know if you can tell. And that would be attached to your cable. This piece, I already took it apart. So now we're putting everything back, and new links are going to go on, new shocks are going to go on, and new drive lines, and we're almost there. Alright guys, here's an update. So we got the axles all together. Let me show you. So this is the front axle. Got the new links on it, the new shocks. Same thing with the rears. Here's the rears, got the new cables in, new links. You do have to be careful on the links. So the top ones on the rear are angled. So you want to make sure you put those in correct. These are straight shock. And then there is one that's on the front. It's really hard to tell in the instructions. This is a straight, this is a straight. The one that's on top here, that does have a bend in it. So you want to make sure you put it on correctly. Alright, so there's that. I'm doing the servo right now. This is the one that I just took out. This is the stock servo. This is the new one. You can see how it comes down longer here. Oh, you can't even tell from this one, but this one comes down longer on the new one for the suspension lift. These pieces are going to go in here, and then your servo goes back in there, and then you pretty much just start putting everything back together. These inner fenders here need to come off as well when you do the servo, and you basically just spread these frame rails apart to get this excuse me, this servo piece, to get that out because it's kind of pinched in there. That's where I am now. Let me get some of this stuff back together here and I'll be right back. Alright, so when you get to the portion of this when you have to relocate the front battery tray, the servo goes in from the bottom. And before you put the tray on, it says use these spacers to bring everything up, because now this tray is not going to clear that servo. So instead of doing that, which would raise all the weight, I went ahead and modified this so that it fits down how it was before. I'll show you. See how it sits nice and low. The servo comes up over the tray. I had to grind down right here a little bit just so it would clear it. It wasn't much. Otherwise, if you do what Traxxas says, put these little spacers in there. Now look how much higher that battery tray would have sat up. This piece would have went on top of those. That's a good, I don't know, half-inch higher. Now you're raising the weight in the front. So if you are going to use a battery up front, definitely recommend doing that mod. Real easy, just, you know, snip it here, and then I use a little Dremel to clean it up. So, hope that helps. Alright, got the servo all mounted up. Now we're going to put the axles back on, and should start looking like a truck soon. Alright guys, we got it all together. I got a little excited and then went all the way through it here, so I'm going to backtrack and show you guys. So, in the instructions, when you get to the axle portion of this, you're going to go with the short wheelbase, which is a medium and a long. This shows you which one's which. Yeah, so that's what you need for that. Put the axles back together, and then when you do the drive shafts, you're going to do it like this. This would be the front, and this would be the back. So the long one's going to go in the back. Medium size for the front will go in the back, which would be this side. So this one's medium. This is the long one. When you do the pinion gear, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. When you pull it out, it's going to be in the C hole. So you're going to move it down to the B hole for both sides. Put it all back together, and that was it. So I put wheels and tires back on, and that's your new ride height. So you definitely lifted now. put the body on and I'll show you. There it is. Alright, so after I finished the lift kit on this, I did realize that the rear axle was pushed forward too far. So I don't know if I did something wrong or if there was just something that needed to be done, a fine tweak. So what I did was, on these 4 links in the front here, I took these links out. These are the ones that came in there originally in the kit, these short ones. They do give you a pack of longer ones for a long wheelbase. I put those in. You see the difference there. So I put the long ones in, 4 links here. That pushed the whole axle back, and then I also took the rearmost drive shaft and I put the extra large shaft in there. That seemed to center up my rear wheel, and everything looks good now. Alright, so after we did the adjustment to the links, this is how the stance came out. As you can see in the back, we're centered now. Whereas before the axle was a little far forward, now we moved it back and it's centered with the wheel well. Fronts came out perfect. Alright, that's the lift kit for the TRX4 2021 Bronco. Thanks for watching.